about some must-have features, things that you've got to have on your truck. Now, this is particularly aimed at those that don't have a truck right now. Obviously, then you're looking to buy a truck, and these are some things that I think, as a truck owner, that you should consider, that I think are important. First thing for me is a front-facing camera. You know, trucks are big, you can't see over the front of them. It would come in very handy to have a front-facing camera so that when you're pulling up against something, you can see where the front of your car is. You know, where I work, I pull up against like a guardrail in front of my parking spot every day. And when I drive the truck, I can't see how close I am to the guardrail. And I don't really want to find out by bumping into the guardrail. You know, I do have to pull in fairly far because the parking lot's not huge. And if I don't, then the back of my truck is sticking out into the road there. And I don't really want the back of my truck to get hit either. So a front-facing camera would be ideal. I do not have that on the Rebel. I think it should be standard in any large vehicle, especially these days. You know, it can't cost that much more. And I'd be willing to pay for it. Front-facing camera. Secondly is air suspension. You know, I've had trucks with traditional shock and leaf suspension, and the Rebel has the air suspension in it now. And man, the ride difference, the ride quality in an air suspended truck is night and day, in my opinion. You get a nice smooth ride. If you have a load in the back, the truck adjusts to give you a good riding platform. You know, in trucks I've had before, you put anything in the back, you end up riding down the road, you know, with the rear end almost on the ground, depending on what you're carrying, how heavy it is. And the front end sticking up like you're going to launch into space, you know. With the air suspension, it self-levels to accommodate for that. So in addition to the excellent ride quality, you also get a much friendlier to drive truck when you're hauling something or you have a pretty heavy load. A nice big touch screen. There's plenty of room in a truck to have one. It's not like you're limited in space. You gotta have a decent, good-sized touchscreen with all the options in the truck. For me, especially with the navigation and the phone interface, which works perfectly in the Ram Rebel, I don't know how you would have a truck without one these days. I mean, unless you're buying a bare bones truck, obviously, and it's just for work purposes, I understand. But if you're buying the truck to daily drive, or as more a family vehicle, or something as more of a convenience, why wouldn't you get it? It just adds to the overall experience of driving. Next, I think is at least a V8 engine. You know, trucks are heavy, and there's nothing worse than having a vehicle that's underpowered. You know, I don't know why anybody would get, unless you have to, but why you would get a truck that doesn't come with a V8 engine. Although I know these days they are a dying breed. So maybe it'd be more accurate to say a truck with the same power as a V8 engine. You know, I don't know if that means a V6 turbo, maybe a supercharged V6, I don't know. But at least a motor that is strong enough so that it's able to haul just the truck itself around, let alone if you put any kind of load in the back of it. The next thing, I guess, and these are two little kind of add-on-y things, I suppose, but they're very convenient to have and very nice to have in a truck. If you have four-wheel drive and it's up in the air a bit, you got to have side steps. I mean, unless you're, you know, 6'8" or something and can basically just step into the truck, side steps are a must-have. You know, who wants to basically crawl yourself up into the truck when you can just step on the side step and step up into the truck then? Much more comfortable, much easier to get in and out of. They're not that much money as an add-on. A lot of trucks these days are coming with them, but I still see some that don't. So again, if you're in the market, if you're new to the truck and you want to get something that is going to make it even more comfortable to drive or to get in and out of, highly suggest side steps. You gotta get them. Now the next thing, some trucks I think are starting to come with this as stock from the factory, but I believe most still do not. And that's the tailgate dampener. Now what a tailgate dampener is, it's a strut, a shock absorber, whatever you want to call it, more like a strut, that attaches to one side of the bed or the tailgate on the truck, so that when you open the tailgate, you can just pop it open, let go, and it will gently ease down to a fully open mode. Now that's compared to pulling that same handle, letting it come out a little bit, and then just dropping the thing so that it slams into the bottom of the top rather of the bumper, or just puts a lot of wear and tear on the hinges on the sides. To me, it's a no-brainer. I don't know why trucks don't come with them standard. They should come from the factory that way. And I know a lot of people have said, well, gee, why do you need that? It's not that heavy, blah, blah, blah. It's not really about the weight. It's about if you're carrying something and you want to put it in the back of the truck and you have one hand free and you've got stuff in your other hand. It's more a matter of convenience. Because the tailgates are quite heavy, to be honest. And why have to maneuver them around with one hand when you're carrying something else when you can just pop the thing open, let it gently ease down, and put whatever you're carrying inside? I don't know why you wouldn't do that. There are aftermarket types that you can get. Mine has one on it. It's from DZ. And no, I'm not sponsored by DZ. It's just a great product. A little difficult to install as far as the almost like a self-tapping bolt that you have to put in the side of the bed. But in most trucks, at least in mine, there's already a little indentation where it goes. So it's an easy install as far as where you have to locate it. A little difficult as far as putting the little nub into the side. You guys that have done it, I'm sure you can attest to what I mean. But the whole install, even given that, probably about a half an hour or less. One other thing, and this is highly personal or discretionary, I guess, and that's the exhaust. You know, when I get a truck or when I drive around in my truck, I want to hear it. Now, I don't want to hear it to the point where I couldn't be sitting in here, for instance, making this video and having to scream at you guys to get over the sound of the exhaust. Or when I turn it on in the morning, I wake my neighbors up, 10 houses down. But I do want to hear the truck. To me, there's nothing worse than getting in a truck, a big, full-size, good-looking truck, and you turn it on, and it sounds like a blender or a vacuum cleaner, or you don't hear anything. I mean, I want to hear that nice little grumbly growl that you get with a decent exhaust on the truck. The one that I have is perfect in my opinion. It's from Carvin. It's the Carvin Progressive. There are many other brands out there, but I really like this one in particular. Nice throaty sound without being overpowering, if you know what I mean, or obnoxious. I think those, for me, are the main things, and again, the last one being highly discretionary. The main things that you ought to consider, at least, if you're new to the truck market or you're looking to buy something or maybe get into something else. The Rebel, in my opinion, or the Ram product as a name badge, is still the best one on the road. I have had no major issues with this truck. Just a couple little quirky things like I've had in every new vehicle I've ever owned. So no quality issues, no big problems in this truck for me. Everything works seamlessly as it's supposed to. And and it's more than capable to do whatever you need to do. And not to mention, the tech is absolutely wonderful, and it's a gorgeous looking truck. Best looking truck on the road. Anyway, appreciate you guys watching. Just wanted to get on here and cover a few things that I think are important as add-ons or options that you might want to consider if you're new to the truck market or maybe looking to upgrade to something else. As usual, appreciate you guys watching. Please click subscribe if you haven't before, and we'll see you next time on the web. Have a good day. Bye.